Stepping into a designer's home always feels special. You assume it's an incredible space that highlights architectural detailing with like a curated collection of really incredible art. It has really distinct charm and a cohesive design that flows seamlessly from one space to the next. Today's video is a brand new episode from a popular series on my channel called 5 Things That I Don't Do as a Professional Interior Designer in My Own Home. Even though I've been designing for clients for almost 20 years now, their preferences always surpass my own. So what are some of the designer details that I avoid at all costs in my own home? Watch and find out. Hello everyone, I'm Julie, a formally trained certified interior designer, and on this channel we love to talk about all things home and design. The first thing that I never do in my own home as a professional interior designer is that I never buy a leather sofa. Many people assume that leather furniture is the most durable and comfortable choice that you can have for seating in your home, and that could not be further from the truth. If you grew up in an Asian household, you can probably agree that leather furniture is just not chic. Okay, hear me out. Leather furniture is prone to wear and tear. If you've ever sat on a leather sofa or even a leather chair and you can see some parts that are like peeling or they're puddling or it's even like lopsided in some places, that is a very common issue with leather furniture. I grew up in a household that had not only matching sets of furniture, but matching sets of the most hideous leather furniture known to man. It was gray, it was cold, it was uncomfortable, but my parents bought it because they were like, you know, leather's gonna last us forever. You have kids, you have pets, you have dogs, you have all of these people who are using all of this leather furniture on the daily. So they're like, you know what? It's so easy to just wipe down with like a wet cloth, a wet rag. And yes, that is true. If you get like full grain, even top grain leather, it is a durable choice. But have you ever sat on leather furniture in the summer with shorts on? Not only is it uncomfortable, you're gonna have to like peel yourself off this leather furniture with your bare skin sticking right to that seat. I know you know what I'm talking about, especially for all of you living in humid climates out there. And to me, leather in like a hot, humid climate like that is like an absolute no-no when it comes to interior design. But hey, guess what? My parents moved us to the West Coast and they thought, oh, it's California now. We can still use this leather furniture. It's gonna be a cooler climate. You're in AC. I hate it. I still hate it. At one point, I was raising a bunch of rescue pups, you know, and I had this leather furniture. So if you want to see all of the scratching and the clawing, every single mark and mishap, it was right there on the leather. Instead of uncomfortable leather furniture, I want you to stick to performance fabrics that can be easily cleaned, and it's just so low maintenance. We want to prioritize quality over budget textiles that you're going to have to replace like after a year or two. If durability is a major concern, then invest in commercial grade furniture. Commercial furniture is just a lot more durable. They usually come with heavier components, denser filling, and sometimes even washable components that makes laundering so much easier. A well-designed home balances both function and aesthetics. If you're flipping through a catalog or you're looking at your favorite design magazine, even Pinterest and Instagram, while these designer homes and fully styled spaces might look beautiful, I personally would never, ever sacrifice function for looks. You know, these beautiful spaces have to work in real life. And while I love a leather sofa, like I love the look of it, especially one that's like vintage, it's distressed, it's worn. If it's not practical, it's just not gonna work in my own home. I have 2 young girls. There is no space in my home that's off limits. You know, I don't like having like too precious things in there, things that they can't spill on, knock over. I want them to beat the home. I want them to batter it up to pieces, but I don't want the house to look like a disheveled dumping ground in the process. With 2 little kids, my living room furniture was really sourced and selected based on number 1, what could maximize the seating in the entire space, and number 2, what was the most optimal piece of furniture that I could plop right into my living room so that we could have these extended movie nights on the fly. And the next item on today's list of the 5 things that I would never do in my home as a pro interior designer is I never use cool lighting. Now, what does cool lighting mean? It's really just the temperature of the bulb that you're using. So in my light, I actually swapped out all of my incandescent lighting for LED light bulbs. Incandescent lighting, even though it's cheaper and more affordable for you to purchase like an entire lot of at the beginning, of course, over time, the electrical consumption is just so much more than LEDs, which barely uses any electricity electricity at all. And then now that we have solar panels put in, like my electrical bill is minimal. So first, let's go through all of these color temperatures and talk to you about what they even mean. Especially if you're going out and you're purchasing brand new light bulbs, I want you to see the color variance between each bulb's temperature to understand what is going to be most suitable in your space depending on your style and aesthetics. So we're going all the way to the left of the spectrum. I would say this is the warmest, most yellow colored bulbs that you can source for your home. So we're starting with a 2000K, which stands for Kelvin color range. So if you're starting at a 2700K, that is a very warm white color. It almost even leans on like an orangey tinge to it. If you have a lot of warmer woods in your space and you have like a darker color palette, this color is going to lean very, very, very yellow. So if you move a little bit further on the spectrum, you get up to about the 3000K, which is a soft white color. 3000K is the color temperature that I use most frequently, not just for myself, but in all of my client homes. Soft white just feels very relaxed. It's very casual. It can almost lean towards like a very traditional and classic vibe. If you have more of a modern aesthetic, it's very contemporary, you like almost even like an industrial type of setting, I would probably lean a little bit more towards 3500K without going over the 4K mark. Even though the 4000K mark is advertised as a cool white color, it looks very, very blue in interiors. Now on the opposite end of the spectrum, you've got 5000K, which is pure daylight. Don't pay attention to what the industry is calling and naming these values. If I gave my clients these choices and I told them, you know, would you rather have like a soft white color or a cool white color or a color that mimics natural daylight, 9 out of 10 people would most likely say they want a pure daylight color, especially when they lack a lot of natural light in their own homes. But look at this daylight color. It's so blue and it's so synthetic looking that everything in your interior is going to look like a gallery museum. Unless that's the look that you're going for, which I highly doubt. But in my own home, I just like a very soft interior. When I was pregnant, my eyes were getting like really bad. I actually thought it was old age. But then a lot of viewers wrote in and they're like, no, Julie, it's because you're pregnant that everything looks a little bit dimmer. So I actually swapped out all of the lighting in my house from 3000K to 3500K. And then after pregnancy, I was like, oh my God, this is so bright. Good thing I actually held on to all of those older light bulbs because I made that switch back and forth. So if you're looking for like a kind of perfect medium and you're switching out all your light bulbs, you want the space to feel really warm, very cozy, but you don't want it to feel like an institution, definitely go for that 3000 to 3500K range. You guys all know that I am a total maximalist. I love color, I love pattern, I love print. And for that reason, I never design tone-on-tone interiors. Although these tonal interiors can look really clean, there are two types that I absolutely stay away from. One is stark minimalist white interiors. I love white as like an accent color to kind of supplement all of the other color that I'm adding into the space. But I would never design an interior that looks like this, or even this. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love some of these designers. I mean, I look at quiet luxury spaces and I'm like, wow, Calgon, take me away. That is like the ultimate Zen mode. You know, that wabi-sabi kind of perfectly imperfect interior. I love that. I actually even love that you add a lot of texture in there. You add a lot of different wood finishes to layer the space. It looks collected. It looks really chic and modern. But for me, in my own home, I actually need a little bit more excitement than that. I still want a warm, cozy, and intimate space. And you know, that Scandinavian type of aesthetic, you know, that hygge aesthetic, right? That warm, cozy environment, you know, that mixed in with the Japandi style, the wabi-sabi style. Those design aesthetics are centered around creating comfortable spaces that are filled with warmth and coziness and invite you to settle in a little bit more. And although I do agree with those core principles of like harmony and comfort and having this like really relaxing atmosphere, I also need my interiors to be washed in color and print and pattern. I mean, they don't have to be like these really crazy graphic prints and patterns, but I always lean towards those natural sensibilities. Like I love biophilic design. So a lot of the patterns that you'll see in my space are things that you can find right in nature. It can have floral motifs or fauna motifs. I love leopard print. I mean, I'm kind of sitting on that right now. And even though it's a wild animal print, it's still very soft and subdued because it's in in like a black and gold fabric. So instead of focusing on the colors that you have in your space, I really want you to focus on the feeling that you get from injecting a certain kind of color. If decorating with primary colors is not your thing, I mean, it's definitely not mine. I always choose a saturated color and then I kind of muddy it up a little bit. You know, if you add in a lot of like brown tones or even gray tones, some of these colors can be found directly in nature, which creates a more calming and soothing environment in your home that doesn't look tone on tone and is far from boring. The next thing that I never do in my own home as a professional interior designer is that I never forget to add personal touches. Decorating with sentimental items is one of my favorite things to do, especially when I'm done with a room and I step away from the space. I'll always walk back in with like armfuls of just personal items. Your home should tell your story, you know, your family's story, who you are, where you've been, and where you hope to go. Art, vintage pieces, heirlooms, maybe things that you've collected over time, those can all tell your story in a very unique and personal way. While designers may own like really expensive pieces, statement pieces, collected pieces, items that they've inherited, or even high-end artwork that they've saved up and splurged on. They also know the importance of adding family heirlooms to a home to make it feel more personalized and have some character. Think about items that you've purchased while traveling, or even your kids' DIY artwork. You know, that can become artwork for sure. The designer's tip is to get it all professionally framed, of course. You know, you see your kids like little scribble scrabbles and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a masterpiece. Where someone might just go out and just find like a really beautiful frame. The professional interior designer will take it one step further and get it like professionally matted. They might look for like a really cool designer border and look for a gigantic frame. And that one designer move will amp up the impact of this tiny little art piece and turn it into something really grand and statement making. Go ahead and display your wedding gown, your wedding headdress, or even your wedding invitations as I've done in my own home. Remember that anything can turn into art or home decor. You know, my husband is not a designer by any means. He's not even into art or decoration, but there are some things that he loves. He loves Godzilla. He loves Aliens versus Predators. He loves Kobe Bryant. So I make sure that in his home office, his personal sanctuary, he has like all of his little personal items on display. That way, when he gets up to take a break or he's even admiring his space, he can be reminded of all of these sentimental items and the trips that we've taken. All of those moments in our family's rich history is like right there in our home. And I love that. You know, I love that for us and I want that for you. The more you see yourself in your own home, the more your home rises up to greet you every day. I have a really great older video that I made on the channel. This is when I was almost about to pop. I was 9 months pregnant with Kamari, my first child. And I was walking around our home and I was just getting like very sentimental. And I thought, you know, I want to make a video. This video is called How to Decorate with Sentimental Items. I'm going to link it right here for you. So definitely check that out if you have some personal items in your home that you want to display with some panache. Thank you to FABFITFUN for sponsoring a portion of today's video. One of my favorite new ways to get personal by sampling new items on the market is with FABFITFUN. The FABFITFUN is a lifestyle subscription where you get 6 products per season from top brands across fashion, home, skincare, and more. I get to choose all the exact products that I get in each box to make it fit my lifestyle. I think about a shape that will frame my face. When the frames cover a large portion of your eyes, I mean, that's really great for crow's feet as well, right? Next up, we have Beautology Labs 24K Gold Collagen Eye Mask, which are perfect for these tired eyes. Make sure you take advantage of all that 24K serum and rub it on your cheeks and neck before applying. I mean, we don't want to waste the good stuff, right? If it wasn't for FABFITFUN, I never would have discovered Parallel Cycle Support, which is a monthly pack of vitamins designed to sync with your menstrual cycle. We're going to start here on day 1 and pick these 2 out. Bloom's superfood packs are made with over 30 ingredients that aids digestion and supports gut health. I've been taking one daily with my Parallel vitamins and I'm feeling really good and energized, surprisingly. I used to drink cold pressed green juice that had to be refrigerated, and not only was it costly, it was just inconvenient. I love these little gold hoops with the like rhinestone embellishment detail. I mean, this is kind of like perfect for everyday wear, especially when I'm filming as well. I kind of like that peekaboo bling. Pretty, I love this. It's a laptop.
It's super sturdy, has 3 pockets, and comes in this lovely herringbone pattern. I'll be using this to house my journal, my daily content calendar, and all of my essentials for grabbing on the go. Each season's box has a value of up to $350, but when you use my code for an annual membership, each box is only $55. Use my code JulieGift for a free gift valued over $200 when you subscribe to a new annual membership at the link below. Or simply scan the QR code that you see on screen. What a deal. Happy shopping, everyone.
The next thing that I never do in my home as a professional interior designer is that I never skip getting samples. We're talking paint samples, fabric samples, wall covering, yes, even wood stain samples. Sampling is so important to the interior design process. I mean, that is something not only do I never do, I obsess over. I probably stay in this phase of interior design longer than I do any other phase. You know, that concept design work, when you're planning the space, you're putting everything together, you kind of have to see everything front and center. You lay it all out. I'm not someone who just goes out and like buys a sofa and then a coffee table and then an accent table and okay, here's some home decor. And then, you know, slowly everything just starts getting collected in a home, right? I love that. While that is a personal design process for like the average homeowner, when I'm designing for my clients, all of that has to happen in that concept phase. You're pooling so many different looks and you have to get these samples so you know, is this the perfect paint color that's gonna match this sofa? Is that wall covering going to work in the dining room? In my most recent custom home design, it was in Hidden Canyons, which was this like gated community in Irvine. It's such a beautiful custom house. I was searching for the perfect stone slab for like our statement wall for, I want to say over 6 months, okay? I kept grabbing samples. Every single time I went to a stone yard, I would get samples of this marble, of this onyx. And when I paired it with all of our wood samples and our dining table and our chairs, I kind of put everything together and I thought, you know what? It's not a right match. Even though it's a predominantly neutral color, you have to get these samples because it's an expensive design. I'm not gonna grab a photo of a really beautiful room, look at the paint color, go out and buy 5 gallons of it, and then have my painter install it in my home the next day. That is like a recipe for disaster and a recipe for nothing else matching in the home, really. You know, we're in my studio right now, and I probably obsessed over my ceiling beam color and this glaze that you see on the wall behind me for like 2 or 3 months. I had my painter make me these samples and I just kind of carried it around like everywhere I went. I took pictures of it. So when I was out shopping for furniture, I looked at all of these samples and I cross-referenced it with all of the furniture that I wanted to purchase. So the design process, this journey that you're going on to carve out and create the perfect dream space is not for nothing. You know, look, it's interior design, okay? There's going to be a lot of money that you're spending in your home. So I want you to really practice the planning and the prepping portion of it before you start spending money. You know, timeless design has never been so important for me in this season of my life. I've been a homeowner for 10 years. This is the first year where I finally feel as I've saved up enough money to budget on what I want my home to look like. I've been designing for clients for almost 20 years, but I have never ever designed a room for myself the way I design it for clients. And I'm so excited this year. We're actually starting renovations this year. There's going to be so much new content for this channel. I'm focusing on the big picture this year and I'm really getting down to designing the bones of my home. This is what I've realized in all of my years in the design industry. The better the interior architecture, the easier it is going to be to decorate and the less likely you'll ever get sick of it. You know, colors, patterns, trends change, but if you focus on the interior detailing, the architecture, the structure of your home, the house will have the capacity to carry your decorations through decades, and that's what's going to create a timeless design. If you made it all the way to the end of today's video, I want to thank you. Thank you so much, and I want to share this week's quote with you. The longer I live, the more beautiful life becomes. That is a quote from none other than the famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright. It's been a very, very transformative season for me over here. I'm really focused on slowing down and prioritizing what home means to me now, and I want to share my entire thought process with you, especially since we're undergoing some major renovations this year. But before I leave you today, I'm so excited to be rolling out a new feature for our channel. It's channel memberships. This has been a very, very long time coming. I started my channel in January of 2019. I mean, we're coming on 6 years of YouTube this year. It's been 5 whole years on YouTube to finally get me to this point. But here's what you'll get with channel memberships. I have 2 different tiers. The bronze tier, which is the lower tier. You'll get these custom badges next to your name so I can recognize you on the channel, which is really, really great. You'll get a batch of really cute emojis to use in my chats and messages. You'll also gain access to members-only polls that really helps us with the direction for our channel. But as a member, you will get a priority reply to all of the comments that filter through the channel. I love engaging with the viewers in the comment section, but this priority reply to comments is especially beneficial for those who are embarking on a home design. You know, if you have like a weekend refresh, you might be just optimizing one single room in your home, or you're going through a full house renovation like I am. You can send any and all your comments to me, even if it's from an older video. Even if the video is 5 years old, I will prioritize replying to your comment because I know that time is money. If you're looking for a really quick answer, my designer advice, or even like a quick tip, this priority reply will help you move forward with your project with confidence. After the bronze tier, we have a brass tier. You'll get all the perks from the bronze tier, plus behind the scenes photos and status updates. This is really great because since I'm embarking on my own home renovation, I want to share like more behind the scenes look. But the best part about the brass tier, I was thinking about this a lot, and I just thought, you know, what better way to connect with all of my members in a more intimate level than creating a private Discord group. Now, I don't know how to do this, but my team does. The goal of the Discord group is for you to be able to send me like personal photos, videos of your own home projects, and you are going to get my advice, right? So I want to create like live streams where we either go through the content together and I kind of give you my feedback live, and you may also be selected to win a feature on a future video where I actually dissect your home to all the viewers out there, and we create this really awesome video based on all of my recommendations for your personal space. I mean, that's fun. Now, if you don't sign up, don't worry, nothing is going to change for all of my longtime viewers. We have some fresh, exciting content lined up for you, including the much anticipated home tour. Now, my question to you is, like, should we do 2 home tours? One, like a before lived-in home tour, kind of like how my home looks as is right now before I renovate, and then do an after home tour video, or put them both in one. I mean, what do you guys think? If you love today's video, I want you to check out the entire series and the last time we created an episode for 5 things that I don't do as a professional interior designer in my own home. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. I'll see everyone next week.